assume, without asking you, that this is shared by all the teachers here. I work in schools where there are many, many bad teachers, really bad teachers. The problem is I have no confidence in the administrations of those schools either, so that if they were given the authority to remove bad teachers, I think they'd remove all the good teachers they have. I'm serious. Bad teachers are quiet. They don't ask anything, for good reason. But we also have to step back and ask, why are there bad teachers in the schools? If you look at the attack on teachers that has been ceaseless, really for the past decade, you're looking at 5 extraordinary fools here, right? Why would anybody with sense, I have at least 2 of them don't really have all that much sense right here, go into it, so that all the incentives that would generally attract people to a career are being pulled out of the public education system. And if you think charter schools are an alternative, you don't know what you're talking about, because their failure rate is much higher than public schools. And what it means to create a new school and keep it going, you can have a good charter school that goes for 5 years and it caves in on itself because people are exhausted. They can't do it anymore. So they're not alternatives. And finally, there's some structural effects that are quite grim. We live in a country which is systematically eliminating its job base. It has no need in most areas for skilled workers. So the whole notion is we could get all these ghetto kids to go to college, they'd have futures, that's crap. It's a total lie. Some would, if you let just a few through. But we have a whole generation coming through the schools for whom there will be very few jobs. And that's a very difficult thing. And it actually means that if you're a good teacher, I'll pick up on bus here, which means you're trying to help your kids find freedom in their minds, that the power of their own minds. They're not good citizens of the kind that the economy wants, because they will be, by definition, question askers, resistors, strugglers. So the battle over public schools now is really a battle over whether or not we will take seriously the needs of the whole population of our country. And the test score stuff and all of that is part of, not necessarily all deliberate, it's not conspiratorial, but the Gates money, follow the Gates money, one incredibly failed experiment after another, costing millions and millions of dollars. And what's it about? A, small schools. Small schools answer everything. We have small schools, they'll succeed. He must have spent at least $100 million on that idea. He's now seen his mistake, after $100 million. So he's no longer investing in small schools, so forget that idea. Make teachers accountable by standardized tests. This is the new thing. So who pays for these mistakes? He's got so much money he doesn't really pay. So there's a lot of issue here, and day by day, if you're teaching in a classroom, you have to be both aware of this and keep it at a distance, because you have to keep your own heart going. And one of the most heartening things is to go into many schools and see what good things are happening. And nobody talks about them, right? We have to paint the schools as bad. If I could investigate corporate America with the level of money that these people spend, boy, they would not pass muster.
One of the things that surprises me when I listen to major attacks on teachers that are really in the news, like in Wisconsin and other places, the rhetoric kind of shows me of the really bad situation America is in when people are complaining that teacher salaries are too high. If you look at how much a family needs to live successfully, teachers aren't paid that much, but it just shows that no one gets paid that much, and that the fact that a teacher gets benefits, a savings, some retirement stuff, that's a luxury to a lot of people. And the other part is, I think as a teacher now, I'm facing things probably 10 years ago in terms of motivation that teachers 10 years ago might not have, in terms of like having school be a fun place for kids to go to. It's just hard it just occurred to me that my school and most schools are missing arts programs, and people say these things, oh, we've lost these things, but it didn't really strike me until deeply until I was teaching the civil rights and about segregated schools during the Jim Crow period, and I asked the students, so what do you think the white segregated schools had that the black segregated schools didn't have? And they were like, well, I bet the white segregated schools had music programs. And that just made me think, like, wow, I remember growing up, music programs was standard. Now my students are in 8th grade and they did not grow up in music programs. And so what I mean by that is, as a teacher, you have to make education more fun, because they're missing out on so many other opportunities for their own creative side.